Coke Machine for Real Fishing. Welcome to the first edition of the Evening Bite with the Coke Machine. Like I said, this is the rough first run, and there's a few reasons for that. Number one, you can tell that I am quite a few minutes late. Well, 10 minutes late for this, and that was because a variety of reasons. My tripod decided it was going to break a little bit, and then I had a brand new jaw jacker style thing, which broke. No, wait, didn't break. I had to figure it out. It was very similar to a jaw jacker, but it's like the copycat one I got at Billy Bob's, 29 bucks compared to 70 bucks. Can't go wrong with that. Anyway, so as you can see, I'm out here with the sunset, which is really what the Evening Bite is all about. But I came walking out here and by the Lavase River. I went walking out. I had on my Navionics, it said, I was looking at a spot that looked like two humps, and I figured, hey, there's going to be fish around there. And of course, the measurement that Navionics was giving me was 4.6 meters. So I'm like, that's probably pretty good for walleye. And then I get out here and I measure 11 feet, and then I go another 20 feet out, 11 feet, another 20 feet out, 11 feet. And eventually I got to 12 feet. And I'm like, okay, this is where I'm going to try. I've never fished out here before. This is where I tossed the spoon this year. And I thought, hey, this looks pretty good. There aren't a lot of people fishing in this exact spot. I can tell you they're all a little bit further out, probably more in about 15 feet. But I figured, hey, I'll give this a shot, 12 feet. And I can get the rough first run out of the way, make sure I know what all my gear is when I come out here and do it right next time. A lot of times I go out with outfitters and whatnot, but today I was just like, you know what, I want to go relatively close to home and just walk on out and enjoy the sunshine. Of course, by the time I've gotten set up here, the sun's pretty much going down. But what we do here on the Evening Bite is we fish from half hour before sunset to half hour after. Of course, I forgot my headlamp, so we'll see how long I can still see. Anyway, so let's get started here. Let me show you what I got set up. Now, like I said, I'm gonna have to super glue my tripod here, so hopefully it doesn't collapse in some sort of serious way. Okay, I'm just gonna lower this down, turn the camera around. Okay, sorry guys, just a little bit of adjustment going on here. So there's gonna be some adjustments. So, as you can see off in the distance here, I've got my jaw jacker imitation, and then I do have a real jaw jacker at home. Or it's actually in my truck. I just saw this new one, and I thought, hey, let's try something new. Sorry guys, it's gonna be a little rough for a second here. Yeah, trying to get everything in here. Yeah, luckily I didn't fall in the hole. Okay. So I'm standing up today because, well, it's a good day for standing up, and haven't seen any fish on the radar yet. Again, I'm in 12.2 feet of water. Like I said, there's some serious like there were some mounds over here that I walked out past that I thought looked great. I was just like, they're going to be going right between these mounds. But then again, I hit the 11 feet, and I figured, maybe I won't be seeing too much action tonight. Either way, I'll get to know this area here a little bit. Like I said, there probably isn't a hut for at least a half kilometer from where I am, which probably means there's no fish here. But that being said, can't always fish where everybody's fishing. Then you won't find any new awesome spots, right? So yeah, I was going to turn my thing towards you guys. Now I am standing up here because, well, I didn't bring a chair. Rough first run, No, I intended to stand. I kind of like dancing around when I'm on standing on the ice. So I'm just getting my other camera running here. Got one of these DJI Action 5s. Oh, so I have it set in slow-mo. Just gonna move my mic a little bit. I'm probably talking right into it. Okay. So I saw a question there about whether or not I was going to be in the Birch Grove parking lot. I will be there tomorrow. I'm going to try to get out early after my kid gets on the bus. So people will probably see me somewhere between 8:39, somewhere in there. Hopefully, I know some people were looking for me a little earlier or to be there at 8, but we'll see. It's all, I try to be ready. Sometimes it's a bit of a scramble, especially after getting the kid on the bus. So I'm just going to go through some of the comments here. Yeah, I had to sort of kick my butt. I was lying on a couch with a heat pad on my back, pain, back pain. And I'm like, must get out, do first evening bite of season. I had to sort of tell myself, like, all right, if you get out there and there's sunshine, you're going to wake up real fast. Corey asks, how is the slush? Well, I can tell you right around the hole that the water is definitely coming right up, probably a few inches. Walking out here wasn't that bad. I was expecting a lot of slush, and with the rain coming tomorrow, I think you can probably expect slush to be coming up for sure, as it's going to be pretty wet. I'm hoping it isn't too wet tomorrow because trying to sling lures in the parking lot there is going to be a little awkward if everybody's sitting in their trucks. You have to bring my big umbrella. So Bill W, good evening. Steve LQ, good evening. Kay Heineck, good evening, buddy. T9 Outdoors, what up? Jeff, have you been out yet today or this season? Thomas Burton, how's it going? So Bart just got off the lake at Birch Grove. Killer action perch walleye, steady limited out 3 guys, and a bonus 3-pound smallie. Boy, I wish the smallies bit more in the wintertime, I tell you, because I love fishing for them in the summer. And I've caught a few through the ice, always a surprise. And I've caught a few like in one sitting through the ice, but just every once in a while. Luke Miller Outdoors says, good luck, brother. Hope you get into some. I hope so too. Failing that, I'm going to be out with Glen Echo Cottages next weekend with my brother and my buddy, and we're going to really be putting some time in. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll see how that flies. And then, I'll probably be out with some outfitters for some other evening bites. I sort of forgot to ask anybody today because I don't know. I'm still recovering from all the ice reports and the spoon toss and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of trying to keep track of a lot of things, and that can sometimes be very distracting to the rest of my life. So I meant to ask Al from Lake Nipissing Outfitters if he wanted to have me out tonight, but then I realized it was like really short notice, and I didn't want to ask on such short notice. So I'm like, yeah, let's just try to find a spot. I was thinking about going out in front of the turd plant there. Seems like there's a pretty solid crew out there that are getting their fish on. I'm sure there's some people maybe watching here. Maybe Jason has tried that out this year. Corey Wolf, what's cooking? Have you received your clappers yet? Craig Levin, how you doing? Ed Horn, the weather tomorrow, from what I keep reading, they keep saying it's going to be rain in the morning and then sort of getting into snow in the evening. I hope that's the case because, well, I don't hope it's going to rain. I just hope it doesn't rain all day. I'd rather be fishing says it doesn't look too cold. No, it isn't. I walked out here in my pants, not even my snow pants, my regular pants. Started to get a little cold though, so I put on my snow pants. But yeah, I don't have to worry about things freezing up today. Yeah, I haven't even put my tent onto my clam flip up yet. I meant to. Well, it was still warm, but I had that problem. I wrote that song about it, about squirrels getting into my stuff and soiling it. So I'm always a little bit slow to put on the tent before the season starts because that's right around the time squirrels might be thinking of shacking up in my hut. And you know how they do it. So MB Outdoors says how much snow. There's probably about a foot of snow, maybe less, maybe 10 inches here. There's a solid crust on it, and I was walking on it when I did the spoon toss not so long ago, and it was definitely easier to fall through then than it is now. Like I feel like it's sort of like congealed up, if you know what I mean. Jeff Burnett, good evening. So Steve says I was fishing Lake Nipissing on Saturday, caught 33 walleye, 4 perch and 2 smallmouth. Had a great day. Were you out here with an outfitter or were you out just on your own, Steve? Yeah, Fahad, it was nice to see you again. I saw you cut that massive ling there last weekend with Snowfari. Corey, you say I can use your hut for a live again. I'll even lend you my sled to get there. It's been a while since I fished out that area. Strangely enough, my brother's buddies have rented an Airbnb out in that area, I think in February, on Yellock. Not the Airbnb that you think I'm talking about, but another one. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, did I see a fish down there? Or is that my minnow coming off the hook? It feels like my minnow came off the hook. Let me take a look there. Would that be sweet? Oh yeah. Yeah. So I got out one of my pinky shardy minnow clappers today. All right. So it's interesting, as you guys probably know, there's a situation here where shiners, large shiners, there seems to be a shortage of. So Billy Bob's and other people are selling them by the scoop. So for 3 scoops, I think it is $10, and you get a variety. Medium shiners, large shiners, and little pinhead shiners. So I guess that gives you a chance to try out different sizes of shiners. But yeah, so it seems to be the situation all around the lake and around Ontario, I think. Large shiners in short supply. So Richard, Jennifer Chapman, I'll be at Birch Grove parking lot on Friday, tomorrow morning. So I'll probably be there for as long as I can take it, as long as it's not raining too crazy. I'll be walking around with my binder full of clappers. Okay. So Craig, you're going to be back up next week, eh? That's great. I'm looking forward to getting some serious fish on. In fact, I know I only released, I don't know, 2 episodes of Spec Trek in the spring. I filmed 6 of them, but I started just working out how I was going to film things, what it's going to look like. But mostly I was scouting around for different spec lakes around North Bay, and I did find one that was pretty profitable for me and my buddy. I haven't released that episode yet, but me and my buddy have been talking about trying to get out there for the winter, for an ice fish on that lake. Unfortunately, it's sort of in a place that the access off of the highway is kind of a dangerous spot. There isn't like a lot of places to park. And then in addition to that, um, if you were to be walking along the highway, you're sort of around a blind corner. So I'm not really too sure how it's going to play out. We're going to have to be creative, but I do definitely want to try spec fishing in the wintertime. See how that goes. But of course, I'm going to be fishing mostly on Nipissing this winter, as this is my home base. Just sorry, Jeffrey Hacking here. It's just asking about me selling lures tomorrow. So yeah, I sell them in the Birch Grove parking lot, which is where Lake Nipissing Outfitters, South River Resort, Snowfari, Lake Nipissing Ice Fishing Charters, I think. There's a bunch of them go out of there. It's right at the end of Birch Grove Road where it connects with South Bay there. And the reason I go there is because, well, there's a big parking lot there, and then people park on the ice, but all the bungaliers go in through there, or a lot of them do. And if anybody's ever looking for orders of clappers and they're at some other establishment, you know, it's like there's a pretty good chance I'll be stopping by, or I'll be pretty close because there's a lot of operators on the South Shore there, or I guess you would say almost all of them. So I can always drop some stuff off here or there, you know. Of course, if you're looking for that, you know, maybe buy a few more than just one. Oh, 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 there's a fish. There's a fish. Come on. Clap them up. Come on. Be a lucky fish. Shoot. I thought I felt something. Come on. Bite it. Bet she's a perch. Come on. Ah. There you go. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to. Do I just let it sit and wait for him to grab it? Okay, so there's a fish looking at my stuff down there. He doesn't seem to want to grab it right off. So you guys know on my other line, I have a spoon with a dangling line with a treble hook on it. So that's about 12 inches down. It has a shiner, small shiner on it, and I'm hoping that if they don't like the flashy clapper I got here, that one will go for that. So I wonder if we're looking at a perch down there, or if that's a, look at how clear that is to you guys, but you can see there's a guy on the bottom down there. Come on. I'm gonna let it sit right on the bottom, and then I'm gonna raise it up. Okay, he's looking at it, he's looking at it. Come on. Classic. He likes the look of it. He just isn't going hard on it. Dangle it a foot above his head and see what he does. Okay, so he's moving up to it. A little higher. Well, the fish likes looking at it, I can tell you that much. Who could resist with those flashy colors? Hot pink, chartreuse. Come on. Couple quick pops. Come on. Sorry. Come on. All right, I'm just gonna let it sit there for a second. Gonna let the minnow do the clapping. I think that's maybe the problem here. I'm jigging it. Bite it. So you guys can see my rod here. Right on it. Come on. All right. Going high. Going real high. So he's chasing it. He's like, I'll chase it up to 10 feet, but not up to 5. Well, looks like I lost his attention there. Anyway, so back to back to the chat. I'll let you know if he's back. Okay. Thomas Burton says, fish are shy. They don't want to be on camera. That's true. Al at Lake Nipissing Outfitters always says that whenever I show up with my camera, the fish stop biting. So that burbot was on the lure you bought for me there, Fahad. That's awesome. That's awesome. Was that one of the Link Slayer lures I sold you? Because that's great. Come on, fish, just bite the lure. Okay. So Corey Wolf, you're out with BAMs, bites light, marking a few. Perch on deck. Darren Carrier, how you doing? Slush is not bad yet, but the warm spell is young. Richard Jennifer Chapman, you say you have to bring your husband. He's obsessed with the updates. I appreciate that. It's the kind of thing where I'm trying to do updates about the lake conditions and the access points as the year goes on here. It won't be I won't be measuring ice like I was. You know, it tends to be info people are looking for is like lake conditions, access points. Nobody cares about ice thickness anymore. I try to roll with the season. Opens up a bit of time for me because I'm trying to film my I guess like a series. It's just about me selling lures in the Birch Grove parking lot there, and just about making lures and the idea behind it, and sort of you know, staying up late at night, spinning up lures and ordering parts and issues with customs. there's there's some interesting parts to being a independent lure producer that should make for some interesting storytelling. At the same time, you know, I've had to sort of put some thought into what exactly might make a compelling video about that kind of thing. And so I filmed some stuff last week, and a couple of guys who bought lures, I got them on video. Sometimes, you know, sometimes it takes a bit of effort to like ask people if they want to be on video, because some people are very much against being on video, and some people are very much for it. For me, I'm just so accustomed to being on video that I forget that it can be kind of nerve-wracking for a lot of people. But a lot of guys that I was interviewing there last week were quite enthusiastic, and so I'm hoping to, as a part of the new series there, and just so you know, it's called A Dude, a Lure, and Ice, and I'd like to think that a lot of people coming out there who want to be on video and tell me where they came from, what brought them to Nipissing, and you know what they like the most, because there's a lot of long-term people coming up here, and then there's a lot of people that I run across that have never been here before. And so it's interesting meeting folks in that parking lot, and it's a whole different vibe from probably what most lure sellers you know, experience. Like they might be more going to stores asking them to sell lures, yada yada yada, whereas I'm just in a parking lot. It's a very different vibe. Phil S says, "Hope the bite is good." Well, at least I got a fish down there keeping me entertained. Phil, I'd be more entertained if you took a bite, but you know, just seeing one on the radar is good. Richard Jennifer Chapman says, "I'll give you extra tip for a lure tomorrow if you just say hi." Hi, Richard Chapman. You give me an extra tip, I will give you a sticker with my cartoon face on it. I keep on forgetting to give those out. They're supposed to be waterproof. There's one on the door of Billy Bob's Bait too, if you want to see one. Yeah, Fahad, I had another guy was using some of my mini micro clappers on perch on Simcoe quite successfully, which is awesome. And he sent me some pictures of that. I was always thinking, I've never really gotten a chance to fish for whitefish much or at all, aside from, you know, I've caught like one here and maybe one on Simcoe. And really, I was only getting started ice fishing when I lived down south, and really got into it when I moved up north here. So I guess I never really had a chance to fish for whitefish in a serious way. So I'm always wondering, like, if you take the clapper format and tried to make it for like a whitefish, you know, what colors would you go for? You know, what orientation would it go for? I know it seems like a lot of the whitefish lures are sort of set up to be like downward facing so that something floats up, almost like a carp lure, I guess, because of the way whitefish eat stuff off the bottom. And when I say carp lure, I mean like obviously in carp you have like your bait or whatever is made to float like right off the bottom because they're bottom feeding fish. I assume whitefish are sort of rocking the same game. Okay, so I'm thinking about what I can do differently with this fish that's down here. And I'm thinking I might just put like a minnow head on there. I mean, the fish is gone at the moment, so maybe this will give me a chance. Change it up a little bit. Woo. All right, the middle's still on there. I'm gonna let's see what I got here. All right, so bear with me, everybody. Just gonna switch up. I was gonna put on a glowing clapper, but I don't have a headlamp to glow it up with. So I'm gonna put on a little mini chartreuse guy. With a minnow head on it. See if that gets some attention. Uh-oh. All right. Uh-oh. So with that, Mike fell off. All right. So I got a little mini chartreuse guy with a minnow head on there. Let's see if that does any better. We are running out of light. That could also be a good thing. Normally I'm out here with a headlamp and all that. And of course I forgot that. I wonder if my camera bag has a headlamp in it. I have a lot of headlamps, so it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, so it is starting to chill up a little bit out here. Not enough to stop me though. Mr. R34 Liddy. I'm gonna say it's reality. Most popular minnow clapper I sell has been the Pinky Shardy. That one really flew off the shelves there in December. It's actually my personal favorite. One issue I have with it is that I am running out of the pink blades that I use for it, the little micro pink blades. And I got them from a lure part supplier in the States. And every time they come over, they're always, there's lots of duties and whatnot. And then now, because of the whole tariff situation, I think it's something like I'm going to be paying like 35%. Well, like the regular duties plus 25%. So when I added up my next order to them, I started cringing a little bit about what the duties alone, along with the US to Canadian conversion, was going to add up to. But one thing I figured out in making lures is that I got to order my stuff basically as soon as I'm running out of it, because otherwise I'm going to be completely out of that lure. So Norman the White Golden Pyrenees, you got into some splake uh, near Bracebridge, eh? I have yet to get into splake through the ice. Actually, correction, my kid and I went to a place and I caught I think two or three like really small ones, probably like 8 inches long. But I have caught in other lakes in the spring. I've caught a splake or two that were 19 inches. That was pretty good, not bad. Yeah, we got. Yeah, what time is it here? 5:11. So hopefully that fish that was eyeballing my stuff comes back here. I was told by another guy who I encountered last March. I've been using a similar rig before, but the idea of like the spoon, I've got like a little Clio with a dropper line with a treble hook on it there. So I'm using that on my jaw jacker imitation there, because I've caught lots of perch on that kind of rig before. But on my main line here, I'm obviously rocking the clappers for now, and I'm probably for the rest of this session here. It's starting to get dark. I got started a little bit late, due to clownery on my part, mostly. Brad Croft, Happy New Year to you too, buddy. Dave Austin. Yeah, show us how to do it. Here's what I'm showing you how to do today, Dave. It's how to pick a random spot on the lake and then show up and catch nothing. Yeah, I'm just saying that because, a lot of times, I've got like, it's nice to pick new places on the lake and check them out. It's not that nice when you don't catch anything, but it's also nice to sort of scope the scene. Like right here, seriously, I'm going to say the reason why nobody else is fishing here is because there's no fish here. But I'm telling you, like, if I can give you a little view of where I'm at here, this, let's see, there's a little speck over here. That's the closest ice hut to me, and that's probably a half kilometer away, if not more. Sometimes it's hard to tell on the ice. And then that's the closest, and everyone else is way out there. Like, here's the thing that I figured out is around Sunset Point in this area, people set up their huts like way out there. Some people say like you got to go 2K before you start getting into the fish, and if you're just going on foot, it's a bit of a stroll. I remember when I lived on the North Shore there at Yellick, that generally I was looking for 15 to 20 feet of water, and it was all big flat out there, and you caught lots of perch, and that was great. But it was a bit of a walk to get out there. So Steph Voyer 109 says Cisco's are annoying. Cisco's, when they're on the bite and they're really aggressive, are kind of fun. But yeah, sometimes they cruise in and just like hit your stuff and peel out. But sometimes when you actually get them on the line, they're pretty scrappy little guys. Yeah, Brad Croft says these efforts I do will keep me in good shape. Yeah, it's been a lot of the reason why. Well, for a long time I was using a hand auger. Now I've switched to a drill though, and hand augering was definitely keeping the heart pounding. It was a good way to stay warm on the ice. Was just get that hand auger out, drill another hole. Walking out where I am right now wasn't too bad because I just walked along a snowmobile trail, and I'm probably a kilometer out or just under. And it was pretty good. I've had times where I've walked through some crazy slush, and it was, yeah, like you got to bring a change of clothes by the time you get set up where you want to be. So Chobo, what up? Blair says, eat more sleeps. Brad Croft. Yeah. I'm a lure dealer. Yeah. I remember one guy came to the parking lot and he was buying a bunch of my lures and he got on the phone with one of his buddies and he was like, "Hey man, Coke Machine's selling lures out here like drugs." Lures like yeah, I thought that was a funny way to put it. Yeah. It's sort of a different vibe selling them in a parking lot. People sometimes suggest that I should have like a trench coat on, have the lures inside the trench coat and be like, "Hey buddy, look at this." Simcoe 1000, are there muskie in that lake? There are definitely muskie in this lake and really big ones. I've never caught one, but I've seen pictures. There's a few guides and stuff on the lake in the summertime, like Rob's 5 Star, Nico. Um, I'm pretty sure Sean DeGagne, those guys both have some very impressive pictures of some very nice muskie that have come out of Nipissing. I remember the guy who used to run South River Resort, Steve, he once told me he saw a muskie so big that he saw it eating a full-size duck. A full-size duck. So, you know, do the math on how big it's got to be to do that. Nick Bruce, no luck yet. Had a fish following my stuff. Uh, John Gullen says it's not a fish, it's a mud puppy. That mud puppy was swimming pretty high for a mud puppy. The mud puppies I've seen generally hang out right at the bottom, and like they're just like a lump on the bottom. Oh, you got a side by side guy cruising by. No, no, tracks. There you go. So there you go. There's an ATV guy with tracks cruising by. So anybody curious about what can drive on this under these conditions? Sean Warvel, we did well last weekend on micro jigs. Nick Bruce, I think the flashlight on my phone might drain my battery right out. I might be calling this one a little earlier because it's getting pretty dark. I'm really sorry I didn't bring my headlamp. It's usually something I do. Native 29 man, good afternoon to you. Jeffrey Hacking 204. Middle clappers are everywhere and nowhere. No, I'm just kidding. You can get them at Billy Bob's. I got one on the line, and you can also order them at foilfishing.com. Quinty. Nick Bruce says Quinty is where you're thinking where you're going to do your ice camping this season. I have not ice fished on Quinty. I think I went there once in a boat. It was good. I mean, oh, Jeffrey Hacking. So you're asking where the minnow clapper is being sold in the morning. You're looking at the Birch Grove parking lot. I think if you look up Lake Nipissing Outfitters, the address listed is the parking lot right beside the parking lot where I'll be selling lures. So Jeff, you say you buy all your jigs and hooks in Japan, eh? Huh. I've never I've looked at stuff from China, but not Japan. Yeah, I had a guy, an outfitter, I think, in Quinty invite me down there. It's a bit of a spin for me. So Gord, the flippin' dad, you won some clappers, I think, eh? And then I also sent them to you. You had ordered some as well. So Jazz Killa, I am unfortunately in 12 feet of water. I thought I was aiming for about 15. I was in between these two reefs here. Not in between, I went past these two reefs. My navionics said I'd be encountering like 5 meters of water, but I guess they're always putting this lake up and down, so I'm only in 12. Normally this is a little shallow for where I would like to be, but I drilled 4 or 5 holes, and I'm like, well, I better start fishing because I'm getting to the time where I need to start the live stream here. So Joshua Hagen says, you might have already said it, but how thick is the ice? I believe it's 14 inches right here, or pardon me, 13. Yeah, it's been putting on slow, but we got a bit of a snow coverage here. But there's definitely lots of ice going around. So Colin Ferris says 18-foot depth seem to be good. John, yeah, not much action. You know, when I did Deepwater Point last year, I think I was in 25 feet of water, and I think that was my best day there. But I also fished there other days and didn't see quite the action. Just I was there on a good day once. So decoy tackle, I'll check that out. So 19 and 21 feet, it's pretty good too. It's a funny thing, Brad Croft. You're saying, yeah, you get a fitness improvement by the end of the season. It's a funny thing because I'm probably my most fit in the summertime because after every single um, night shift I do, I go for an hour-long bike ride across the city here. There's lots of trails and whatnot that I like to go down, and then after it's too snowy to bike, I end up going for hour-long walks after my shift. But then during the ice reports, I sort of fall off a little bit and spend most of my time just making sure I'm out there checking the ice. And you might think a report might be 5 minutes long, but there's driving around, looking at stuff, talking to people, and you end up. I only have a couple hours in the morning after my night shift to put things, to film things and whatnot. So I had to sort of not do my walk and whatnot. Failing that though, I do some amount of weightlifting on shift, which is good to keep me awake. um, so Lee Lantern 805 says, "Is it Birch Grove Road or Birch Grove Drive?" I believe it's Birch Grove Road. If you follow up um, the map from South Bay, uh, it's like it comes into contact like directly with South Bay in a little bay. It's Birch Grove Road, I think, as well. If you look up like Nipissing Outfitters, like their parking lot is right there. So, guys, I think we might be running out of light. So I might take off here so that I have a clear path home. I gotta get back to my car here. All right. So thanks everybody for showing up here. It looks like it's getting a little too dark to continue. Um, I'll answer one more question here. David says, "How far did you have to walk out to get 12 feet?" I walked out about a kilometer here. Mind you, there are other places on the lake where you don't have to walk this far to get to deeper water. Um, on the North Shore, though, it tends to be like that. It's a bit of a stroll to get to deeper water and so forth. All right. Well, thanks everybody who showed up. And next time I'll try to start a bit earlier. I'll probably be out with a operator, but I also have got the invite from Bernie Giesler to go fishing with him, and I plan to take him up on that this year. So we will talk to you guys soon. And strange, I'm just seeing Blair's comment here. Says you need a snow dog. I was gonna build a snow dog with my dad this summer. There's some real interesting track sled builds online, and I was really looking forward to doing that. But then my truck got into a real pickle, and my dad and I ended up working on that for a very long time. So that ate up my time. I was hoping to put into building a track sled, but maybe next year. Anyway, talk to you guys later.